All right, this week we've had a landslide election. We've had markets that are absolutely running. We've got the Fed cutting rates today, possibly further perpetuating the idea of a Goldilocks environment. What is a Goldilocks environment? It's the classic story of the porridge that was just right at room temperature so that it could be easily enjoyed. A market that isn't scary, a market that doesn't have looming threats of disaster over it. A Fed easing, a strong economy, and a decisive election are all the ingredients of a market running, and that's exactly what we've seen. Now, yesterday I did a live and I talked about stocks and crypto, and I gave a little overview of the SPY. I'm going to touch on the SPY again today. I'm going to touch on Bitcoin again today. I'm going to run through some hot cryptos that I've charted for you guys. These are cryptos I'm interested in that I'm either buying, holding, or looking to buy. It's a short list. I'm going to share it with you, and there's some on there that are more appealing than others, but all of them are worth you looking at. We're going to talk a little bit about trying to be consistent on Wall Street, making money every day. If you're a brand new to this Wall Street game and you're trying to turn Wall Street into your ATM, I'm going to go over just a little micro class. I'm going to call it the basics. I just want to refresh and continuously deliver this idea out there for people that are really trying to get successful and make money consistently, because there's a way to do it. There's unnecessary risks a lot of people are taking. I'm going to try to help you to avoid those. This is the Stocks with Josh show. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for dropping a heart, just saying hi in the comments section. Hit the like and subscribe if you need help learning the charts and navigating Wall Street's sharky roads and paths, because it's not easy. I want to lead with a quote. The magic that you are looking for is the hard work that you are avoiding. You know, I was talking to my son-in-law earlier today, and we were talking about the difficulty of transitioning into making money consistently on Wall Street, and what does it really take? And the focus of the conversation was that the biggest problem you're going to run up against is yourself. It's going to be your emotions, and it's going to be the emotion of fear and greed. And the hard work that most people are avoiding that would, if only done, would allow them to no longer trade their valuable time for money. The hard work is coming up with a consistent daily trade strategy, trade plan, risk scenario that's understood, and even a goal. You ask somebody, well, what's your daily goal that you're trying to make and get out of Wall Street each and every day? Most people will not be able to tell you. They don't have a fixed amount that they're targeting because they don't have a strategy or a plan. Now, I'm curious. I want you to take a moment, and you may not know exactly what your goal is because maybe you don't have a strategy. Maybe you do. Maybe you have a plan that you're using every day and a particular targeted percentage that you're trying to pull out, a risk scenario that's well defined. If so, let me know. I'm just curious what it would take for you to be able to quit your 9-to-5 job. What would it take for you to pull out of Wall Street each and every day so that you could begin to just be a trader and an investor? I'd love to know. Let me know that number in the comments section. But here's just the basics. I'm not laying out the whole plan today. I'm going to be teaching this more and more in the Stocks with Josh Discord, the Chart Goat University. I'm doing live trading with the VIP members Wednesday and Friday, and I'm going to really narrow and focus people in on the specifics of this plan. But let me just break down for you some of the basic ideas. So if you had just $1,000 that you were willing to risk on each and every trade, okay, let's say you're trading options and you learn the basics of options and you risked $1,000, you would have the target goal, let's say, of making 20% on that, okay? And that would give you $200. And if you did it successfully 5 times a week, every week you would have the ability to pull $1,000 out of Wall Street. Okay. Now, the biggest problem that you're going to run into, and I talked with my son-in-law about this, is the first thing you're going to want to do is if you had a successful run of trades and you worked your plan and it worked and you were able to pull $1,000 out of Wall Street in 1 week, only ever risking $1,000, the first thing you're going to want to do is immediately double your risk. You're going to want to risk $2,000 so that you could pull $400 a week out of Wall Street. And this is why seasoned traders understand how greed absolutely takes over the mind and prevents people from really succeeding. You want to come up because you're not going to win all the time. Matter of fact, you would be crushing it if you won 60% of the time. Okay, you would be doing very well if you won 50% of the time, but you had a higher reward to risk game plan. So let me cover that for a minute. So on your trades that you're risking $1,000, let's say that your trade setup's no good and you got in at the wrong time. Okay, well, right away, you could flush down and lose $100. You have to have a very defined loss that you're going to accept for each trade decision that you make. Okay, so that by the end of the week, if you had risked $1,000 every day and you're only allowing yourself the ability to lose $100, then the max loss that you could have during a week of trading would be just $500. You're not always going to win. Your win to loss rate is going to vary dramatically from week to week. So I'm just going to encourage you with those basics to think about what you're doing, set a target goal if you even have the time to focus on day trading, because you need to have the time to focus on day trading. You have to be able to do it at least during the first 2 hours of the market open each and every day. And if you don't have that time, then you really should be focused on strategic long-term swing trades and investing. And even if you're day trading, you need to have a long-term investment account. In my previous 2 videos, I highlighted that if you had put in just $1,000 into NVIDIA back in 1999, it would be worth $2.4 million. Now, $1,000 isn't hard to come up with, and we're talking about risking $1,000 5 days a week, every day, to try to get $200. Imagine picking the right company and dropping $1,000 and just 20 years later having $2.4 million. That's long-term investing, and you want to be doing both because one might do better than the other. Okay, I wanted to lay a little bit of some coaching into this video, but it's not all about coaching. The video is going to be time-stamped, and we're going to go over some plays, the market, Bitcoin, a handful of things, and then a very popular stock that's been a buzz in the retail community, and that's DJT, Donald Trump's stock. And I spent some time analyzing the charts today, and I'm going to give you an opinion, right? And it's just a quick opinion as to the direction that I think it's still moving and what to expect from this, as well as some commentary on how good, is this an investable company? I'm going to share that with you as well. Guys, thank you for hitting the like. And if you're brand new to the page, hit that subscribe as well. And if you need help putting together a trade plan and learning a trade strategy that for me has consistently worked and turning Wall Street into my ATM, then you can come join the Stocks with Josh Discord, the Chart Goat University. And that's what we're teaching, not just myself, me and the Crown traders are investing into the community there. Come check it out. I'll leave a link in the top pinned comment. Okay, so real quick commentary on the markets and what we saw yesterday. The markets love a decisive victory, and that's what Donald Trump gave them. Now, these are the 3 things I think we can expect from Donald Trump's presidency, and I think they're going to impact a ton of stocks, and I'm just going to lay them out there right at the beginning, and then we're going to begin to look at the best companies that match these things I think we're going to see out of Donald Trump's presidency. 1, he has promised lower taxes And I think he's going to give lower taxes essentially to working class and middle class people. But he also is going to give lower taxes to corporations because that does stimulate the economy, because when companies have less of a tax burden, they tend to do things like buy back stocks with the extra money or reinvest in the company. And so that can create more jobs and it can bring up that GDP. So we're going to see lower taxes. Donald Trump is positioned as a pro-business president, and he is going to be delivering some tax cuts for corporations. Now, if it doesn't work, then and he doesn't produce companies doing more business and bringing that GDP up, then we're going to have trouble, obviously, with the cost of reducing those taxes. But that's going to be seen later down the road. Then you're going to have deregulation. He's going to be, again, pro-business, and you're going to see a lot of regulation cut and dismissed. He's talking about getting rid of entire federal government bureaucracies. So he's going to be doing some cutting there. But more importantly, when you cut those bureaucracies, you then have less regulation for American companies, and you have the ability for them to run faster and further than they could before. Now, I understand that there's always two sides of the coin or two sides of the blade, which means that less regulation means that companies could get themselves in trouble. I'm not getting political here. I'm just talking about the things that Donald Trump is very likely going to do and the impact it's going to have on American companies. So lower taxes, less regulation, and then the third thing that he is definitely going to do is to bring tariffs. Now, he did a ton of tariffs in his first presidency, and he's been talking about tariffs on the campaign trail, and he's basically said he's going to manage this through tariffs. And I just want you to understand this point. We're consumers. America is the largest consuming nation in the world. We're buying. The American consumer is strong, and the world knows it. That's why they bring all their goods to our shores. All of their boats are sitting waiting to get into the harbor and be unloaded. Now, Donald Trump understands this, and he's going to hit those nations with high tariffs, right, as part of a strategy to recapture wealth and to begin to promote businesses, onshore businesses here in the United States. And so those are his game plans, and we're going to be looking at building a Trump portfolio, and I just wanted to lay out those ideas. Now, the first stock we're going to look at when it comes to Donald J. Trump is DJT, which in my opinion is sort of a meme company. Now, don't get mad at me if I say something that you don't like. I'm entitled to my opinion. You're entitled to yours. We'll be respectful towards each other. I can't take DJT terribly serious as a company, and I'm not sure that they have the right management to be able to turn it into a major social media company. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. We already have large companies that are with billions of dollars of proven profit and leadership in that space. I know some people don't like those companies, but Truth Social has a very long direction to go, and obviously X platform is accomplishing a lot of the things that Truth Social suggests they will do. Now, here's the main point I'm going to make, and I'm going to go into the chart and I'm going to tell you guys what I see there, but here's the main point I wanted to make about it, and that's it's going to be ultimately the biggest buy the rumor, sell the news, because you really don't need a Truth Social platform if you have Donald Trump in front of the media as president 24/7. That basic idea was given to me by Stock Up with Larry Jones, and he said, you know what, the minute Donald Trump becomes president, Truth Social largely becomes irrelevant because the exposure that he would want or that people would want him to have, he will have in full force, right? And so it's going to cause Truth Social, DJT, to potentially suffer. It's a buy the rumor, sell the news event. Now the question is, because it's pulled back a little bit, it ran up from $14 all the way back up to $50. The question is the run already over? Is him having a landslide victory brought the entire story to the end? Well, let's jump into the charts and see what they suggest. The top resistance line that I see on DJT is $94. Now, the middle ground, or the area that has served many times as support or resistance over and over again, and we recently broke through, was to get back above this $29 and to use it as support. We got a beautiful bounce off of $29. So here's the first bit of technical analysis I want you guys to have. You should be very leery of holding DJT under $29. That's why I've got the stop loss right there underneath $29. Okay, so if DJT is going to continue a strong run up after having $29, after having served as resistance many, many times, and now serving as support, needs to hold. And so you really, I wouldn't personally hold DJT if the price opened and closed beneath 29. I would also say that having gotten above this very strong resistance, now that it's above, I would say that it's still in a bullish position. And even though we came up and hit 54, between now and the time in which Donald Trump becomes or takes office, there's absolutely the opportunity to go back and retest 54 and even go as high as $94. And so I'm going to suggest at the moment that DJT is still in an upswing. And for as long as it stays above the $29 price range, I would consider it still in a bullish move, moving higher. Okay, let's take a minute and look at the SPY, because the SPY has had an incredible run, and I'm going to make a prediction as to what I think might happen in the coming days. I don't know, but this is the view that I have of the SPY. I often give you guys my view of the SPY over the next couple days, weeks, or months, and I've been very consistently accurate, so I'm going to do it again today and let you know what I think might happen for the remainder of this week. Let's go look at the SPY. Okay, as you can see, we had an incredible move up and bounce off of this 568, which I had told you would be support, and we've moved all the way up with this candle gapping up, and I believe that we have moved past this previous line of historic resistance. And so now we have to adjust our bearish ascending wedge, which at some point we will break down from. We previously had a tighter wedge, but I believe that since this move has shot up, it now gives us the logic of expanding our wedge. But I do believe that where we stopped yesterday, we're going to continue to move along the top of this line. And so that's the main point of today. I don't see any major capitulation just yet. I see that we might just move daily along the top of this line. As you can see, we have done at similar times when we've had a major powerful move up. We sometimes hold the line and move along the top of it for a number of days. Well, I think that's in the situation we're at now. So I'm kind of expecting us to build a little area of consolidation right around this price range, but largely moving up. Now, at some point, we're going to have a little pullback, okay? Maybe we'll get up to 594, and I think that we're going to come back and test this important range of 584. That's the pretty much the main thing I'm wanting to highlight in today's video is two things regarding the SPY. Three things. We're still in a bearish ascending wedge, which means eventually this party will come to an end, but at the moment it's still looking strong. Two, I think we're going to move along the top of this range. My bias is a continuation to the upside. And three, the principal area of support that I see moving forward is this 584. And I think that at some point we're going to come back here and bounce. I'm not suggesting it'll be this week. I would say that we probably will finish this week strong, and we will likely at some point come back and test this 584 before continuing higher. All right, so that's basically just the general view that I have of the SPY right now. I wanted to share that, but let me quickly go into the Bitcoin chart because there's something I want to show you guys there. I touched on Bitcoin in more depth in yesterday's live. Make sure you check it out, but I'm just going to review something else on Bitcoin that I want you guys to see. Okay, so this is the logarithmic index chart of Bitcoin. I mentioned that Bitcoin has now done something that it hasn't done since 2017. If this candle that I just highlighted, the one that's opened in 68,346, if that remains green, in the month of November, then it really has put a realistic target on the table of $171,000 Bitcoin. Okay, and so apart from a black swan event, from a Fibonacci perspective, and Bitcoin has absolutely honored the Fibonacci rules, from a perspective of looking at this chart, 171, 184, 171K is absolutely realistically on the table if this candle closes green. So that's the good news. I wanted to point something out that I didn't point out yesterday, and that's just what this consolidation that we've gone through has meant. So this candle here pushed above the yellow fib level of 27,288. And then after that, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles, and then we pushed up above it again. Okay, let's just look at what happened. This candle pushed above the price of 68,346, and then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles, just like before, and then we got another candle pushing above the price. Now, this, I just wanted to point out that we had literally an identical time frame of consolidation with an identical result. And the last time we did that, we moved from the bottom of that fib level all the way up to the next. Okay, we made a move that was from 27,000 to near 50,000. We're doing the exact same thing, and we do have the opportunity after this period of consolidation going into 2025 that we could be making a move right now. This candle could be the launch pad for that if it closes green from 68 to 177. All right, I've got a lot that I'm going to go over with you in this video. I'm going to go very quickly through some of my top crypto picks. I'm going to do a follow-up video where I will go through the charts with you on them. But today I just wanted to highlight to you what I've been buying, what I've been looking at, and what I've been seeing in some of my top crypto picks. First of all, I talked about ETH yesterday, that I dumped my ETH bags and that the price had to get above 2,800, and we needed to see a green God candle, I like to call it, means a really big dominant green candle, and that the MACD beneath the zero line needed to have a cross. I want to tell you that we did see the price continue to come up to 2,800, which I predicted that it would do. But that MACD has not crossed over yet, and we don't have that huge green candle just yet. Do I think it's going to signal a buy signal? I think it very easily could, but it hasn't done it just yet. I wanted to be clear about that. So we don't have a confirmed buy signal on Ethereum just yet. Now, I moved that Ethereum money over into some other projects, and I made a ton of money while the markets were ripping higher. And so even though ETH has come up, I made more money making the decision I made. Now, I can take that money that I made and the money I had originally invested in ETH, and I could roll it back into ETH if ETH begins to pump, which I very likely will do. At the moment, I'm holding the assets that I had rolled my ETH money into. Let's talk about some of them. Solana. Now, Solana is a hold, but it really has some bearish divergence, some ugly bearish divergence on the chart. It can go higher, but that bearish divergence causes me some concern. It might need to cool off a little bit. So I'm not selling any Solana, but I'm telling you that it's a hold right now. Now, Sui is in a similar boat, because you got to remember, a lot of that Ethereum money has been rolling from Ethereum over into Solana and Sui, and Sui's at right underneath resistance at $2.33. Now, it's got support at $2.07. That's all I'm giving you regarding Sui today. Now, my big buy that I got into that's already profited me was SEI, S-E-I. Now, this is one that I talked about quite a while ago, and we made over 100% profit on it, locked in that profit, held some, got stopped out, it went down crazy, and now I'm looking at it as a rebuy. I took a position yesterday at 50,000, I added 30,000 to that, so my SEI position, S-E-I, is getting big. Why? Because it has what Ethereum doesn't have yet, which is a God candle, a cross on the MACD, and buy signals. I've got my stop loss in place, and say is a good buy for me right now. Tau, T-A-O, same as ETH. It's getting ready to signal, but that MACD hasn't crossed just yet. When it does, that's going to potentially give us a bigger move on Tau. But just like Ethereum, Tau hasn't signaled yet. It's very close to it. PENDLE. Now, I like PENDLE, but I want it to pull back a little bit, and maybe it won't, but I'd love for it to pull back to $4.65, and I believe that it could be north of $7 by the middle of December. That's PENDLE. It's been a winner this altcoin season. POPCAT. Now, POPCAT, I'm holding. I've talked about this maybe about 6 weeks ago to 2 months ago. If you had gotten in the day that I talked about it, you'd be up nicely. And I believe that it's a hold right now, and I see it possibly hitting the $1.80 to $2 range pretty soon. And then Doge. Doge is a hold, but I wanted to give you a couple dynamics. There's strong resistance at 24 cents, and there's support at about 16.8 or 16 cents 9. So that's your roundup for top altcoins that I've been charting, buying, and trading here in the last 24 hours. Let me know what your number one successful altcoin has been, not since the market began, because that everybody should have done well buying anything in crypto for the most part. I want to know what has been working for you, that you have high conviction on, and why in the next 24 to 48 hours. What do you see in the charts that tells you your favorite crypto is getting ready to take off? Let me know. Don't fill the comments with silly noise and hype. I'm talking technicals, baby. Let me know the technicals, and I'll go check it out. Okay, we covered a lot. DJT may turn out to be one of the biggest buy the rumor, sell the news events, but the current run isn't over as long as it stays above $29 or $30. I gave you my top altcoin lists. We talk about the fact that Bitcoin had fully reset with the months that it needed to rebuild momentum, and that we are now where we need to be. If this 30-day candle closes green in November, then we have achieved something that we haven't achieved since 2017, and Bitcoin can absolutely hit 100K and much higher. We're going to be watching that chart carefully going into the end of this month. The SPY bias that I have is still to the upside, and ultimately we're going to have to test support at 584. So if you missed the run-up, you might just build a little cash and wait for that target to get hit. You got to do you. This is not a suggestion for what you should buy, sell, or hold. With the Donald Trump presidency, lower taxes, lower regulation, and higher tariffs should boost our GDP. We'll see in the course of time. And it's time to put together, if you're going to be a long-term investor, well, we talk about long-term stocks on this page. I mentioned the other day, Palantir at $32 to $29 is going to be my next six-figure buy when it comes to stocks for my long-term retirement account. But if you're trying to develop day trading skills and you're trying to learn how to master turning Wall Street into your ATM, when you've got to have a trade setup, a trade plan, a defined risk scenario, and a defined reward scenario. And you have to limit yourself, right? You have to work your plan consistently until you prove to yourself that you're good at it. Stop taking everything you've got in your account and trying to throw Hail Marys and hoping that they'll win. Don't do that. You can master Wall Street. You can do it with the Stocks with Josh community, the Chart Goat University. Come over and check it out, and we'll do it together. Trade with me, learn to chart with me, and learn to chart and trade with my crown traders. Take care. Peace and blessings. Hit that like and subscribe. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.